Hi, I'm Brian Langeliers. My studio is Artifact Concepts, and I grew up here in Montana, in Billings, went to college in Missoula, and spent 15 years down in Colorado, and I'm back here in Red Lodge for the past 5 years. Down in Colorado, I worked in the music industry. I went down there just to get some out-of-state experience and try to find a job in the arts after I got my degree in oil painting in Missoula. Most of the bands I worked with were in the bluegrass or acoustic music genre. The main act I worked with was Yonder Mountain String Band. I was with them for about 17 years, and through their success, built a company doing merchandise, branding, graphic design, and again that turned into general artist management. But it was really art that was always the key component to anything that I wanted to do in the music industry, whether that was concert posters or album artwork, t-shirts. And really that's kind of where the name Artifact Concepts came from, was we were creating artifacts of your concert experience. So I moved back to Montana, choosing Red Lodge to be close to family, and my heart is in the Beartooth Mountains. I grew up in these mountains, learned to hunt, fish, ski, everything that I take dear to me. So Red Lodge was the perfect fit. There's just an energy here that people bring in a way that community matters, where we live at a dead-end road for 3/4 of the year when the Beartooth Pass is closed. So it's a place where you need your neighbors, and you have to live here with intention. My father is a landscape watercolor painter, so I've been painting since my earliest memories. He taught me art through landscape watercolor painting, which for everything that I've practiced is some of the most difficult form of painting there is. Very unforgiving. So I learned that and had talent in it from a young age, and everybody encouraged me to do so. So that's the only path I've ever really followed, is in the visual arts, whether it's through my music career or now really focusing on my own series of art and as a painter. What's it like being an artist here in Red Lodge? It's a lot better since the Roosevelt Center came about. Before I feel like it was just a bunch of artists hiding out in their own little worlds, whether there was home studios or if you're Kevin Red Star, who had a gallery downtown for years. There's just different elements to being an artist, but I feel like the artists in Red Lodge have really put their whole heart and soul into it and have found success in doing so. I've noticed that since I was a kid coming through Red Lodge, and I notice that now. But with the Roosevelt Center, a lot of these artists are coming together in a way that is much more visible and much more interactive, and in a way that we can feed off of each other and get excited about each other's ideas and give feedback and critique to each other in a way that has really made the arts much more visible here in Red Lodge. I do aerial landscape paintings, so instead of looking at the landscape in your traditional lateral view, I look at it from above. We're all always looking at our phones, using maps. Whether you're looking at satellite imagery or just the roads, you're always looking down at the earth, and that's what I do in my paintings. I could provide an abstract view of the earth with actual figuratism, landscape figuratism in that painting as well. For me, the Roosevelt Center has always been the idea of creating a central place for artists to practice their skills, to practice their arts, and grow from here. To have an art center here in Red Lodge where artists can come together, grow, feed off of each other, incubate their art into a business that they can take downtown, have an art gallery downtown, take across the world, share their artwork in galleries around the world, and really make Red Lodge a center for the arts in Montana. It's always been that. But as I said before, a lot of artists were hiding out, and you never necessarily knew they were here. Whether it's Elliot Eaton, John Potter, Kevin Red Star, these are all really famous artists in my mind, and I'd like to see a new generation of those artists come out of Red Lodge.